What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another release episode of Miracle Whim, everybody's favorite. Oh, I should go here. Everybody's favorite tiling and hackable window manager for Wayland. Um, I got the release out quicker this time. I'm super excited about it, and it's got a lot of cool stuff. So let's jump right in. The first cool thing on the plate is the ability to set a shader pipeline for each of your windows from the plugin system. I'm going to demonstrate this right now with the new Focus Blur plugin. So what this does is it takes whichever window is currently unfocused and adds a Gaussian blur to it. That's a two-step shader pass, so it has to blur it horizontally and then vertically, and then you get your outputted blurred window. What's also new is now you can, any plugin that winds up in the .config Miracle Whim plugins folder gets loaded automatically. So the cool part is that makes it so these things are super easy to install. We can just curl into Bash, which is everybody's favorite from a security standpoint. So what I'll do is I will curl that into Bash. I will reload my config. I think I did. And let's open up a new window, and boom, we have a properly blurred, unfocused window here. I'll split that like that just so you can see it again. Very cool. You can do all sorts of effects, write your own plugin, and you'll have really cool effects. Next up on the plate, and along the same lines, is the ability to set a shader from the plugin system for the whole output. This plugin, I actually don't know how cool this is going to look this time of day. Let's curl it into Bash and see what we got. Let me close this. So if I curl that into Bash, is this late enough in the day? Yeah, you're not really going to see anything right now because it's 3:30 Eastern Standard Time. But if it was past 6 p.m., you would see it gradually fade to orange, to reduce the blue light strain on your eyes, which is really neat. So you can imagine doing all sorts of things. Again, this is a shader pipeline. You could apply Gaussian blurs over multiple shader passes for your entire output. It's most useful just to put a color filter on, but there's a lot of wild stuff you could do. Maybe you want a grayscale sometimes because you're feeling dramatic. That's up to you. And again, go ahead and have fun. It's a cool little shader feature, and it's a very nice to have for your eyes. Next up on the list, and a little bit more difficult to demonstrate, but I guess you're looking at it right now, is the fact that we've enabled a bunch of new Wayland protocols: data control manager, image copy manager, image copy capture manager, image copy capture source manager, foreign top level list, and input method v1. The cool part about this is now we work, actually maybe I can bring that up. We work very well with the, being flashbanged over here, with the most up-to-date version of XDG Desktop Porter WLR. So screen sharing should just work out of the box. I've updated the instructions here. If you want to see how you do it, you could just sudo apt install it, you configure it, and it just works. And it's super cool and very awesome. This also will fix some weird window opening bugs that were happening in WL Copy and Grimshot. Check that out. It'll be nice and should make the entire experience a lot more pleasant. The other thing I want to start focusing on here was building up some shell elements that are really going to matter going forward so that you have a decent experience with this thing out of the box. My top priority was getting the errors just piped out right in front of your face. So I'm going to explain this right now. We have a new client, so I'm going to change the outer gaps from X was 10. Now we're going to change it to meow. We're going to save this, and we will refresh the config. And obviously, now you see this big error screen pop up by default that says, hey, you have the invalid type at line 5, column 5, whatever. You can go here and be like, oh, I typed meow, that was an accident, and you can refresh, and now you don't have that problem. This is really cool. I think the errors could be better here, but this is a really good start. It's a super lightweight client built with GTK4. The errors come down over the IPC. My cat's looking up, and I don't know why she's looking up, and I don't like it. but all the errors are piped down over the IPC socket. So if you want to create your own client there, there's actually a way to configure it. Again, if I go to the wiki, that's in WM clients. You can write your own error reporter if you want, but the default one should be just fine and make you a very happy camper. Speaking of other Window Manager internal clients that we're now shipping with Miracle, we have this new thing called the debug overlay, and man, do I love this one. Let me show you this right now. So if you do Miracle Message debug overlay, what you'll see, and this kind of probably looks wacky, but you will have information about the current state of everything with an overlay driven on top of it. So if I open up another window, you'll see all the input bounds and rectangles in this wacky orange color for Miracle. We could toggle that off very easily if I'm on the right thing. Yep. Sorry, OBS decided that it didn't want to be OBS anymore. Anyway, it's super helpful for me to debug things and see the state of things, and it makes life a whole lot easier and interesting. So check that out. If you ever have a problem with Miracle, it will help to dump that debug state into any tickets or issues that you have. So please do. Please use it when you have problems. And last but certainly not least, and I think I mentioned this earlier, is that I made it so that anything that winds up in the home config / Miracle WIM / plugins gets loaded automatically. So you can start distributing your plugins just as .wasm files that people can download, place in that folder, and they will automatically see them when they run Miracle. You could still point directly to a file that's on your system if that's what you prefer to do, but this just makes the installation so much easier, and honestly it makes me like 10x happier that I can just go do that. And speaking of those plugins, all the plugins I currently support have active releases. So the Focus Blur plugin has a release, the Nightlight plugin has a release, and the Miri plugin, of course, has a release, although I haven't done too much work on this recently. Go download them. You could curl them into Bash, or you could do your own thing and do it right and feel good about yourself, but curling into Bash is just sort of easy. And that's pretty much it for features. There's some things I want to point out. The first, the snap works again. The snap is all good. It was confusing. It's out. It takes a systemd session. It's going to work very well for you. So if you want to use the snap, now's your chance. I will publish that to the latest stable version as soon as this is released. The second important thing to note is that the wiki has moved into the, if I click this button, right? It's moved into the main Miracle WIM repo rather than being in its own repo. It just didn't make sense to have it. I don't know. It didn't make any sense to have it elsewhere. And then there's some other things, but you don't have to worry about that. Oh, actually, you should worry about one thing, which is, you should worry about one thing, which is if you were on a system where Wasm Edge where having the plugin system enabled was causing you to have a black screen, that should be fixed. Let me know if that's not fixed. That was the wackiest bug that I could have found. The problem was we were loading 2 different versions of llvm, and you're not supposed to do that. You're definitely, or not, we weren't loading 2 different versions, but it was confusing. Anyway, that should be fixed now. Go check it out. Plugin system should work when you're doing software rendering and all that cool stuff. And that's pretty much it for this release. Go try it out. Go install it. I think things are going well. I'm going to get to version 1.0 this year if I die trying, which I won't die trying. But even if I did die trying, I would get to version 1.0. It's going to be cool. And write a plugin for Miracle if you really want to try something cool. Have a good summer, and I will probably see you in July or August. Bye.